We have breaking news tonight. A sitting U.S. Senator's office has been linked to a cartel drug network. The FBI has launched a major raid in Minneapolis.
3:47 a.m. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Winter had turned the city into glass. Ice coated every surface. The roads were abandoned. Parked vehicles sat locked beneath frozen sheets. In the Cedar Riverside neighborhood, home to 42,000 residents, one building stood apart. District headquarters for Senator Ahmed Nure, a beacon of community leadership. But the quiet was ending. A convoy of black federal SUVs appeared without warning. 58 agents from the FBI and DEA emerged into the freezing darkness. No lights, no sirens, only purpose. They stacked formation at the entrance, badges concealed, firearms drawn. The breaching tool struck the oak door, once, twice. The third blow tore the frame apart. Federal agents, go, go, go. They flooded inside. Every corridor swept with tactical precision. Consider this, 80,000 Somali Americans live in Minnesota. Within days, 100 ICE agents would be deployed targeting this exact community. Fear was spreading. Flashlight beams sliced through the senator's darkened office. What they discovered wasn't paperwork or voter files. It was infrastructure. Cartel infrastructure. Behind a false vent near the main desk, agents extracted 23 sealed bricks. High-grade cocaine, each stamped with cartel markings. This wasn't personal use. This was distribution inventory. A reinforced steel safe sat bolted into the concrete floor. Drill teams forced it open. Inside, $4.7 million in cash. Organized by denomination. Sorted by serial ranges. More money than the neighborhood's entire bank held in reserve. But the discovery that stopped everyone cold sat on Ahmed Nure's mahogany desk. A satellite phone. Still powered. Still active. The screen displayed encrypted coordinates linking Minneapolis to financial centers in Nairobi, Mogadishu, and Dubai. This was a full-scale money laundering operation running through a United States Senator's office. Not an accident. A system, built deliberately by the man his community trusted most. If you think politicians trafficking drugs should face the same punishment as street dealers, hit that like button and drop "no immunity" in the comments. The investigation went deeper. The betrayal cut harder. Senator Ahmed Nure, 58 years old, known publicly as a cultural bridge. He spoke at schools about opportunity, at town halls about safety. In reality, he was constructing a network. FBI agents raided a Bloomington business on Thursday after prosecutors say it built Medicaid fraud schemes. Over 6 years, that network evolved from political ambition into organized crime. Nearly invisible to the public eye, an underground empire grew. Through 27 shell companies, $79 million in cash moved. $220 million in total transfers flowed through programs connected to his name. Surveillance footage recovered by investigators told the real story. Ahmed Nure meeting regularly with Yahya Osman, 34 years old. Direct ties to the Sinaloa cartel. Nure protected him for years. Their meetings followed a pattern. Basement rooms. Rented storage units. Never longer than 20 minutes. He wasn't there for speeches. He was there to authorize the movement of tons of narcotics across American borders. The senator operated 5 separate cell phones, each with different numbers. Those phones connected him to officers, officials, even judges. Some took money. Some believed they were supporting national security operations. One by one, they stopped asking questions. Twin Cities leaders are preparing for a federal immigration crackdown as soon as this week. CBS News is reporting ICE will launch an operation targeting Somalis with deportation orders living in Minnesota. When the full scope began emerging, Nure was already preparing contingencies. Among the evidence, a shipment manifest containing 62 cargo loads, labeled as humanitarian supplies, filled with narcotics. Agents were stunned. This wasn't street-level crime. This was organized activity conducted with military-grade logistics. A man entrusted to defend his community had weaponized that trust to build a hidden empire. Comment exposed if you believe this operation required political protection to survive this long. The investigation had grown too massive to remain confined to case files. Command center walls were covered in maps. Red markers indicated high-risk sites. Every line converged on one location. A basement beneath a nondescript community building on Minneapolis's outskirts. From the outside, it looked isolated, harmless. Inside, it was an active hub. Money, weapons, and drugs moved through every night. A tactical plan formed immediately. Operation Northern Sweep. For the first time in modern history, the FBI, U.S. military units, and over 100 federal agencies coordinated for simultaneous assault. 29 locations. Before dawn. Zero warning. Democratic leaders in Minnesota slamming the Trump administration over reports of planned immigration enforcement targeting Somalians in the Twin Cities. It comes after President Trump criticized the group during a cabinet meeting. 4:30 a.m. 19 minutes before the senator's office breach. The operation launched. Black helicopters flew low over frozen fields. Drone lights swept the ground. FBI armored vehicles thundered toward the manufacturing complex gates. When they hit the first barricade, the impact shook the earth. Metal sparked. Gates were ripped aside. Agents advanced in waves. Explosive charges blew open side entrances. Flash grenades turned darkness into blinding white. We are tracking the court cases for every official involved in this scandal. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the updates. Inside, the complex was a labyrinth. Labs, storage chambers, reinforced bunkers. The air was thick with chemical odor. Teams moved room by room. Gunfire erupted. Armed guards opened fire from behind stacked containers. The firefight was brief, intense. When it ended, several suspects lay face down on concrete. Then came the real shock. Behind a steel door secured with 3 separate locks, agents found a complete production line. Stainless steel tanks, conveyor systems, racks of chemical containers. A functioning drug manufacturing facility protected by security systems resembling military installations. Nearby, ammunition crates sat stacked beside body armor. In another room, teams discovered a command center. Screens, maps, encrypted radios. And on the wall, a photograph. A police sergeant in uniform, smiling, standing shoulder to shoulder with known gang leaders. If this shocks you, hit like. Imagine what's still hidden. The fortress had fallen. But the raid didn't end when doors were broken. When the last suspect was removed, the work shifted to evidence collection. Agents opened a large metal cabinet filled with files labeled innocently. Community development. Youth outreach. They sounded harmless. The numbers told another story. Nearly every folder contained receipts for massive cash transfers. Signed hastily. Approved without oversight. Transfers for $83,000, $120,000, $167,000. All approved within minutes. Sometimes in the middle of the night. Financial analysts compared bank statements against city approvals. Patterns emerged. A councilman in one suburb had signed 6 permits in 12 minutes. A police captain received a security consulting fee the same day a suspicious truck passed through his district. A clinic billed $1.9 million for services never provided. One elderly clerk who'd worked at City Hall for 27 years began crying when she saw the documents. "I gave them those permits because they said it was for the children," she whispered. The truth was crushing. This wasn't bribery whispered in dark alleys. This was bribery executed with forms, stamps, and official seals. A second room held something different. Long tables covered in maps printed from satellite imagery. Pinpoints marked warehouses, basements, river docks. Every location connected by lines. According to press reports, the operation could begin within days. The move comes as President Trump has disparaged Somalis with increasingly inflammatory rhetoric. It looked like a web, not a criminal hideout. A transportation system. Near the map sat handwritten notebooks. One listed monthly payments to a police officer, $41,200, every month, for almost 2 years. Another showed names of small businesses. Next to each name, a number. Some low, $600. Others massive, $37,000. No services rendered. The money simply moved. Emails were recovered as well. Approve the transfer. No delay. Warehouse ready. Do not inspect. As evidence was catalogued, a difficult realization spread through the team. This network wasn't built by outsiders. It was built by insiders who allowed it to happen. Every document had been signed. Every shipment had been waved through. Late afternoon, a special meeting convened. The lead prosecutor stood before a long table. Her voice was steady. "We are not looking at one criminal. We are looking at a structure. A structure that has existed for years inside public life. Type accountability if you believe every official who enabled this should be prosecuted." One day after President Trump escalated tensions with America's Somali community, "They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country." The deeper investigators dug, the wider the corruption spread. Senator Ahmed Nure hadn't operated alone. He built a protection network. 2 narcotics task force officers had been receiving payments, $28,000 monthly, for almost 18 months. A state patrol trooper provided advance warnings about federal sweeps. An ICE officer looked the other way during cargo inspections. A county clerk expedited permits without proper review. And one assistant prosecutor buried indictments for months at a time. Recovered text messages revealed the system. Federal sweep planned Friday morning. Advise relocation. Translation: move the drugs before the raid. Indictment draft under review. We'll stall filing until next quarter. Translation: bury the case. Shipment next week. Same as before. Don't open. Translation: let it pass without inspection. One federal investigator put it bluntly. This wasn't corruption. This was a shadow government operating inside our institutions. Lawyers who structured shell companies. Port officials who cleared shipments. Customs inspectors who ignored red flags. real estate attorneys who facilitated property purchases, bankers who processed suspicious wire transfers. Every enabler received compensation. The system functioned because people at every level chose profit over duty. Share this video. They count on you staying silent, but your engagement makes these networks impossible to ignore. But Minneapolis wasn't the end of the story. It was one node in a national network. Investigators traced connections to Miami, Houston, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, Seattle, 8 major American cities. The network extended internationally. Origin points in the Horn of Africa, Venezuela, Colombia, Mexico, transit hubs in Dubai, Istanbul, Nairobi, Panama City, offshore financial centers in the Cayman Islands, Cyprus, British Virgin Islands, UAE, entry points into the United States, Port of Houston, Newark, Miami Port, Minneapolis St. Paul Airport, Canadian border crossings, distribution methods, refrigerated trucks, shipping containers, commercial flights, underground tunnels. The scale was staggering. Federal estimates suggested the network moved $2.4 billion annually over a 10-year span. The human cost couldn't be measured in dollars. Tens of thousands of lives destroyed along supply chains. Emergency room reports, morgue records, empty chairs at family tables. For every brick of cocaine seized, investigators knew dozens more had already reached American streets. One prosecutor described it this way: "We didn't just break up a drug ring. We exposed a parallel economy that has been operating in plain sight for nearly a decade." Comment your reaction to what you're seeing. The scope of this is beyond what most people can imagine. When the sun rose after the raids, Minneapolis appeared unchanged from a distance. But when residents stepped outside, they noticed something different. The city was quieter. Emergency lights were gone. Yellow tape remained on doors and fences. And so, in speaking with several people who currently live there and work there in that city, they've seen a lot of this confrontation, but they do say that it's isolated to certain parts of the city. Residents stood on porches longer than usual. Newspapers arrived early. The headlines were massive. Major raid in Minneapolis, 29 locations hit, $245 kilos of drugs seized, $52 million in cash recovered. For older residents, the numbers were hard to believe. They had trusted the buildings where raids occurred. They donated money. They volunteered. Now the names in newspapers were familiar, and that made it painful. A retired teacher whispered to herself, "I used to go to meetings in that building." She wasn't angry. She was hurt. She had believed in the people who worked there. Inside coffee shops, conversations were soft. "I never thought this could happen here. We voted for him. He looked like a good man." At a local diner, men in heavy coats sat around a long table. One tapped the newspaper. "If a judge and a senator can do this, who can we trust?" A week after the raids, courthouse steps were crowded. Signs read, "We deserve the truth and who protected us?" It wasn't an angry crowd. It was a disappointed one. Banks were quieter. A small branch in the northern part of the city closed for 3 days. Its director had been arrested. Parents were anxious. They remembered vans parked outside schools months earlier. One mother said, "I feel foolish. I thought it was school supplies." Trust had been the first victim. But in that silence, something else began. Neighbors checked on each other. Doors that had been locked only at night were now locked during the day. It wasn't fear that changed them. It was awareness. They had learned that danger didn't always come from outside. Sometimes it came from inside their own institutions. Like this video if you believe accountability matters more than political affiliation. No one claimed the city was healed. Healing takes time. But people were talking again. The raids were over. The consequences had just begun. The community now faced a difficult question. How do you rebuild trust once it has been broken? A reporter asked a federal agent, "Is the danger gone?" He answered with a quiet smile, "No, danger never disappears. But neither does courage." This case is not an outlier. It's a warning. What happened in Minneapolis is happening everywhere. Trafficking networks operate in every country, in wealthy neighborhoods and poor ones, behind walls of homes, businesses, and institutions that look legitimate. The United Nations estimates 40 million people are trapped in modern slavery worldwide. Criminal networks generate $150 billion annually. They survive because people look away. Officials accept bribes. Employers want cheap labor and don't ask questions. Systems designed to protect are compromised by those who value profit over human life. Additional networks have been identified. Investigations are expanding. These networks are adaptive. They change methods, routes, cover stories. The fight continues. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. This story is far from over. Senator Ahmed Nure now faces federal charges, RICO violations, narco-terrorism, trafficking, money laundering, no plea agreements, no political compromise. The evidence was exhaustive, the paper trail unbroken. Defense arguments collapsed under timestamps and digital signatures. He faces life imprisonment. So do 17 co-conspirators. Asset seizures totaled $127 million. Cash, property, cryptocurrency, vehicles. 43 victims were rescued during the raids. Medical evaluations revealed trauma, malnutrition, evidence of abuse. Legal pathways were offered. Asylum applications, T-visas, special immigration status. For the first time in over a year, Hassan saw the sky. Amina, 23, had been locked in that basement for 9 months. Agents carried him out. He collapsed on the lawn. Justice requires witnesses. Accountability demands attention. Hit like so this story escapes the algorithm that buries uncomfortable truths. Comment your thoughts below. Say what you really think about corruption at this level. Share this with someone who thinks this can't happen in America. They need to see how it already has. Subscribe so you're here when the trial updates drop. The war is not over, but the city is standing again. Every voice makes these networks harder to hide. This is not the end of the story. Stay vigilant.